Shalom, shalom. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries. It is late now, Saturday night, actually Sunday morning. We're going to gain an hour, hallelujah. But November 5th, 2017. Remember the 5th of November, if you've ever seen that movie. Guy Fawkes and his wicked... Anyway, I won't get into that. But it is now the 16th day of the 8th Hebrew month. 16th day of the 8th Hebrew month. And there's a major news story that happened. So it looks like the Antifa communist rallies were a dud. There were like maybe 100 people in Portland that protested. And then even in New York City, there was like just a couple hundred. It was a dud. So no civil war. But something even more major happened. First of all, Senator Rand Paul was assaulted at his house today. He shouldn't have been mowing the lawn on Shabbat, but he was assaulted. And then in Saudi Arabia, there's a major shakeup going on. About 11 princes have been arrested. All the American financiers that worked in Saudi Arabia under the Bush administration, they've all been fired. And this happened a couple of weeks ago, actually. For the first time, the Saudi Arabia prince met with Russia. They're not friends with Russia, but now they are. So it looks like what's happening is China is actually pushing to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, not using the American dollar, but the yuan, which makes sense. I mean, China and Russia and a few other nations, they formed the BRIC back in 2011. So it makes sense that they would no longer want to use the dollar, that they want to use the yuan. Because if they're able to use the yuan to buy oil, then that will cause the internationalization of the yuan to replace the dollar. So it looks like what's happening is there's a currency war that's about to turn into a hot war. And I got this from a couple of people that I saw on YouTube and just the news. But Saudi Arabia is now looking to ally itself, not with the United States anymore, like it used to under the Bush and Obama administration, but it's now looking to switch sides and ally itself with Russia and China. And if Saudi Arabia winds up throwing its support behind Russia and China and allowing China to buy oil with the yuan, this is going to severely weaken the dollar. And so this whole thing with North Korea, the United States wants a war with North Korea because they know that if there's a war with North Korea, the United States will have justification to have a war with China. And the United States is very upset with China because China is trying to undermine the dollar by basically swaying Saudi Arabia to trade oil for the yuan. So we're seeing a major event go down today. They're calling it a coup in Saudi Arabia. And the United States is saying, oh, they're just doing this because they're trying to get rid of the radical elements that support Iran. It's really not the case. What they're really doing is Saudi Arabia is firing all the American representatives and financiers in Saudi Arabia and switching its alliance from the United States to Russia and China. And Russia and China will then have the money, not just the power, but the money to wage the second seal, which, remember, the second seal is red. It's a red horse because red China and red communistic Russia, yes, Russia is still communist, just like China, just like North Korea. Now they're going to have Saudi Arabia to help them. And so they're going to have the money and the power to launch a surprise attack against the United States. So this is all playing into the hands of what I believe. And again, I could be wrong, but it looks like that with this huge development, I mean, Saudi Arabia is switching from the United States to Russia and China and allowing China to use the yuan, which they haven't allowed it yet, but it's looking like it's likely. This is huge. This is huge. So the 11 princes being fired, the American financiers in Saudi Arabia that have been there since the Bush era, they're being removed. And Saudi Arabia is switching its alliance to Russia and China rather than the United States. If this actually goes down, then Russia and China will have the money from Saudi Arabia and the oil to destroy America. So this very well, what happened today on Shabbat, very well could be another indication that the United States is going to be destroyed in the next 4 months, which means the Great Tribulation will begin next Purim. Now, could I be wrong? Yes, I could be wrong. Am I wrong? Pray, seek Yah, keep His Torah, love Him. Stay close. Shalom. This is Daniel John Lee with Torah Restoration Ministries, website Spirit and Torah.